Hello ladies and gentlemen, as always it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto content. Today we're going to be discussing CBDCs, also kind of analyzing HBAR and pretty much DLTs as well, and why I think that pretty much the future will run on Hedera Hashgraph, if you will. So let's jump into this fully. So first and foremost, this is coming from Reuters.com. It's the central bank digital currencies get full BIS backing. This is actually huge, especially for pretty much the entire crypto world, because we already discussed that CBDCs will need a platform to be built on, or I should say to run on, because if they don't, then they won't be efficiently utilized. When we talk about CBDCs, we're not talking about the fact that they're going to come into this game and pretty much put crypto to sleep or anything like that. We've already talked about how Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Fed, he discussed the fact that CBDCs still need something to pretty much bridge them to be efficiently utilized, because if they aren't utilized in a proper way, then it will be pretty much the equivalent of using fiat cash. And when we talk about fiat cash, we already know that cash right now, it's astronomically terrible to use. I mean, first off, it's inflated massively. Two, it utilizes a ton of energy, a ton of CO2 emissions and gas and stuff like that to actually be used. So it's environmentally unstable. So for me personally, CBDCs definitely need something like Hedera Hashgraph. If we actually look here, we do see the Bank for International Settlements has given the full backing to the development of central bank digital currency, CBDCs, saying they are needed to modernize finance and ensure big tech does not take control of money. And it is true. First, we've already discussed the fact that the financial world right now is extremely outdated. And it's just not running efficiently for scale, especially for today's society, as we see everything kind of marching into a new tech age, if you will. So I definitely see this being a big pain point for the entire government, as well as worldwide governments as well. So we do see here, dubbed the central bank to the world's central banks, the BIS, which is coordinating many of their discussions on digital currency, set out recommendations on Wednesday on how a CBDC such as digital dollar, euro, yen, or yuan should look. As part of its upcoming annual report, it estimated that at least 56 central banks and monetary authorities representing around a fifth of the world's population are now looking at digital currencies as commerce shifts online. And I've discussed this briefly on past videos when I talked about how, we're pretty much marching into a world where everything and anything will be purchased online. I think at some point in time, a lot of these, physical stores will pretty much be replaced. We're actually kind of seeing the last of the generations that like to go outside and go shopping at an actual physical store. Pretty much a lot of those people are kind of leaving, and a lot of the digital age that we are seeing now is pretty much kind of marching into a popularity basis where e-commerce is a growing market. We're seeing e-commerce pretty much shoot up pretty much trillions every single year. I think last year e-commerce accounted for $3.8 trillion. Now this year it's like $4.8 trillion. So it's going up almost $1 trillion every single year. Commerce is pretty much a thing of the past. E-commerce is the future. And with 56 central banks and monetary authorities, that's huge overall. And I definitely think that most of them, if not all of them, will be utilizing some sort of efficient way of moving CBDCs. We do see here the train has left the station, said Benoit Coer, I believe, I hope that I said that right, of the BIS, referring to the move towards central bank digital currencies and its support. It is not that we are getting carried away. We are just looking around. The push comes as physical cash use falls globally, and authorities look to fend off the threat to their money printing powers from Bitcoin and efforts from big tech such as the Facebook-backed DM, formerly Libra. Without CBDCs, digital money would become increasingly dominated by big tech firms, as they would leverage enormous social media user bases. This is a place where you don't want to be, where governments don't want to be, said, describing it as a loss of control over sovereign money. And again, the whole idea of controlling money and stuff like that in terms of government use cases and stuff like that, it's just in my opinion, it's very greedy. But again, it's all control over financial markets, and we kind of discussed that a little bit in past videos. As we do know, money will always be controlled by some higher power, if you will. But we do see, the sand dollar was implemented, which they've discussed in the committee meeting that we pretty much live streamed and kind of chatted about in regards of HBAR and HODL. But again, it's pretty much how it will work. This is their fundamentals or their entire kind of, model, if you will. I think that this is pretty much a terrible way to look at it, in my opinion. I think that it could be a lot easier and, simplified, if you will, especially utilizing something like Hedera Hashgraph. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of these banks and a lot of these big financial firms and stuff kind of moving towards digital currencies. Even I know Goldman Sachs has been pretty much a Bitcoin FUD, if you will, for years past. How they're saying that Bitcoin is just a big bubble waiting to crash, but it's really not. The main reason why Bitcoin is such a success and why cryptocurrencies are such a success is because they are limited in terms of what they are, how they're created and stuff like that. And that's the main pain point with the US dollar, with any government currency, if you will, is just inflation. Inflation is a killer, and it is a financial killer for a lot of markets. Now, I do also want to discuss this. This is, CBDCs. This is pretty much, kind of discussing the entire monetary system. Now, I'm not going to pretty much read this entire thing. Here are some key takeaways. CBDCs offer in digital form the unique advantages of central bank money, settlement finality, liquidity, and integrity. There are advanced representation of money for the digital economy. Digital money should be designed with the public interest in mind, like the latest generation of instant retail payment systems. Retail CBDCs could ensure open payment platforms and a competitive level playing field that is conducive to innovation. The ultimate benefits of adopting a new payment technology will depend on the competitive structure of the underlying payment system and data governance arrangements. The same technology that can encourage a virtuous circle of greater access, lower cost, and better services might equally induce a vicious circle of data silos, market power, and anti-competitive practices. CBDCs and open platforms are the most conducive to a virtuous circle. And then we also see CBDCs built on digital identification could improve cross-border payments and limit the risk of currency substitution. Multi-CBDC arrangements could surmount the hurdles of sharing digital IDs across borders, but will require international cooperation. And this is what I was talking about, right? This is why CBDCs still need something to be built on, and that's what this is pretty much telling us, to run efficiently or even be utilized efficiently. And we have some more insights on this. So this is pretty much the graph of the CBDCs, pretty much kind of discussing what that would look like overall. Now, I also want to talk about, CBDCs are a big key of the pie, but we also have to talk about CBD Cash, which is a huge key component here as well. Now, this is pretty much talking about DLTs in this article. We're seeing assessing the merits of each approach is an area of ongoing research. These studies also cover novel forms of decentralized or decentralization enabled via distributed ledger technology, DLTs, which we've also, we already know HBAR is, has a DLT under its belt. So-called permission DLT is envisioned in many current CBDC prototypes. In the process of updating the ledger of payment records, such permission DLT systems borrow concepts from decentralized cryptocurrencies, but remedy the problems due to illicit activity by allowing validation only by a network of vetted or permissioned validators. Permission DLT designs may have economic potential in future markets and payments due to enhanced robustness and the potentially lower cost of transactions. Now, we also see of achieving good governance as compared with systems with a central intermediary. However, such resilience does not come for free, as an effective decentralized design that ensures the right incentives of the different validators is costly to maintain. On balance, a trusted decentralized design may often be superior, as it depends less on aligning the incentives of multiple private parties, which I want to disagree with that statement, because I don't think that it would be that costly, especially to run something on like Hedera Hashgraph's network. I think it would actually benefit greatly from not only the trust layer aspect, because we already know ABFT is massively secure. It's the most secure public network, if you will. So they would benefit from that. The fees are not that high. The cost wouldn't be that high either. It'd actually probably be more sustainable than what we currently have in our markets. And not only that, but it's the greenest choice in my opinion, and it's the most scalable as well. So I don't really see that pain point being a problem there. These design choices will also be bearing of or on the industrial organization of the market for payments. They will determine the requirements for data governance and privacy, as well as the resultant DNA loop and market structure. In the hybrid CBDC model, the central bank would have access to the full record of CBDC transactions. This would lead to a competitive level playing field among private PSPs, but comes at an expense of greater concentration of data in the hands of central bank itself. Additional data governance requirements may be needed in such cases, as we discussed below. Now, again, I'm not too concerned overall if DLTs will be utilized, because I think that they definitely will be, and the reason why is because they don't have a platform to build these CBDCs on that really run them efficiently. And we're already seeing a lot of these CBDCs come into play. We've already discussed the digital yuan. We've discussed the digital euro. The Bank of England is pretty much moving fast as well with their choice. And a lot of these places, even like El Salvador and stuff, are looking into other digital aspects and components to really, further their financial markets. So I think at some point in time, we're still a little far away from CBDCs making their way into the market fully. I think that they're running a lot of tests. We've already discussed how the U.S. is pretty much running tests on CBDCs. I think they're doing like 6 banks around the country right now, utilizing a CBDC and testing it to see if it's running efficiently or not. And at the end of the day, when we discuss Hedera Hashgraph, we're not saying that HBAR itself is going to be used, because it's going to be using the Hedera network. But guess what the Hedera network is powered by? HBAR. So I look forward to seeing what's going to happen with the entire market, with the entire cryptocurrency market as well, kind of being tied to the future financial market. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, because I'm very bullish on Hedera Hashgraph being utilized for a lot of these CBDCs, as we do know how scalable it is, how cheap it is, how green it is, and just overall it's the better choice out of all the other DLTs if we look at it. But they most likely will be utilized in the same way, same aspect, if you will. I just think Hedera Hashgraph is far above most of these other choices as well. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, if you guys do want more free content, you guys can follow me on Twitter at NCashOfficial. You guys could also join the free Discord down in the description below. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.